Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. If you are watching and you've not yet subscribed to this channel, just stop what you're doing and hit the subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button. Thank you. After you have hit subscribe to this channel, I want you to go over to Curry Fences and also subscribe. That's my other YouTube channel that I am promoting as well. I have two YouTube channels. All right, so this is the part 2 of the 2018 May-June paper. I did January 2018 one already, so you can search through this channel and find it. You can also follow me on Instagram at Social Studies Wiz. That's Social Studies Wiz, one word, on Instagram for even more content. All right, so let's begin at number 31. Let us begin. All right, let me bring up this. All right. So this says item 31 to 32 refer to the following table, which shows the population figures of 4 countries. This is an error. I probably CSEC didn't realize that that was an error. This is a repeated question too, but the other questions actually, the table actually refer to 2 questions, but here they only placed 1 there. Right, so country 1 has 750 kilometers square, population is 70,000. Country 2, 100 kilometers square, population is 150,000. Country 3, area is 300 kilometers square, population 100,000. Country 4, kilometers square, 25,000, population 150,000. How do we find population density? Dividing the population by the area or dividing the area by the population. Whichever one of them is mathematically correct. I am not a friend of mathematics, but these little calculations, you must be able to do them for the exam, or else you're going to lose mark for that particular question or those set of questions. You have to do a little division, a little multiplication, a little subtraction, addition, basic mathematics you need for social studies. So 31 says, which country has the highest population density? So when you work out all the divisions for all the countries, right? The one with the highest population density on number 31 is B, and that is country 2, where the area is 100 kilometers square and the population is 150,000. Now, 32 says the term labor force is best defined as all persons who are A, at the age of retirement from work, B, qualified, willing, and able to work, C, employed and those actively seeking employment, or D, qualified to work and are currently seeking employment. All right, the answer for number 32 is B, qualified, willing, and able to work. Those are the persons who make up the labor force. At the age of retirement means they are working, but they're not retire, right? So that's not the best definition for the labor force, but what about those who are not at the age of retirement? Good. Employed and those actively seeking employment, right? That is C. D says qualified to work and are currently seeking employment, but what about those who are already employed? So you see that those answers don't really make sense. Good. So 33 now. The introduction of machines in agriculture results in the unemployment of farm workers. This type of employment, the type of employment these workers suffer is A, normal, B, cyclical, C, seasonal, D, technical. It's technical employment because machines replace people. It's not normal employment because machines, that's not normal. It's not cyclical where there is a cycle, right? No, the machines come and to take over permanently. It's not seasonal because I didn't say it's a seasonal business. For example, like, you know that the water park down by Negril is open when there's a season, right? Like from summer onwards. So like in months probably like April, March, it's probably closed. So that would be seasonal employment. Number 34. Let me move this video over a little bit so I can see the question clearer. 34 says lack of sufficient resources to support the demands of a nation's population is known as A, depopulation, B, overpopulation, C, underpopulation, D, population growth. Answer is B, overpopulation. 35. Which of the following is not a result of population growth? All right, so the population is growing. What will not be a result of that? A, traffic congestion. B, availability of land. C, development of slums. D, increased demand on social services. So 3 will be as a result and 1 not as a result. So you need to find the odd one out. If there is constant population growth, right, then you're going to have traffic congestions. Yes, you're going to have development of slums or squatter settlements, and you're going to have an increased demand for social services because more persons are there than the resources can take care of. So the government of in turn take care of them. So the one that will not be as a result is availability of land. B. 36. Which of the following best explains why birth rates have been falling in some Caribbean countries? Why are people choosing to have less children or none at all? One. So is it A, fewer babies are dying in the first year of life? B, the quality of medical care has declined in some countries? C, family planning is now encouraged in several countries? Or D, larger numbers of people are migrating from some countries? Answer is C, family planning is now encouraged in several countries. Number 37, which of the following is most likely the result will, which of the following is most likely the result from rising levels of unemployment in a country? What is most likely to happen from rising levels of unemployment? Is it A, high birth rate, B, increased emigration, C, increase in workers' salaries, D, increased sporting activities, right? Sporting activities, increase in workers' salaries, not related. High birth rate, well, people will say if persons are unemployed, then there is nothing else for them to do than to make babies. But that's not the answer. You're going to have an increase in emigration. That is EMI, persons leaving to go somewhere else to live and to work. Number 38. The attractive social conditions offered by some countries have influenced the movement of people from the Caribbean. These conditions may be described as A, incentives, B, push factors, C, pull factors, or D, encouragements, right? What will actually entice people to go somewhere else to live? What do we call those things? Correct. They are pull factors. These are conditions that exist elsewhere that entice people to go there, right? It's not push factors. It's not push factors. Push factors exist within your own country. These are conditions that would push you to leave or cause you to leave, like high levels of unemployment, high cost of living. But the pull factors now exist in other countries that will entice you to go there, like employment opportunities, low cost of living, political freedom, religious freedom, better infrastructure, right? So the answer for 38 is C, pull factors. 39, which of the following are problems usually associated with rapid growth in development? Rapid urban growth in developing countries. What comes as a result of rapid urban growth in developing countries? 1, unemployment. 2, shortage of housing. 3, shortage of motor vehicles. Shortage of motor vehicles not related to rapid urban growth, right? So it's 1 and 2, unemployment, shortage of housing. So the answer for 39 is A. 40, healthy individuals are beneficial to a country's development because such individuals are more likely to be workers who are A, less critical, B, satisfied and contented, C, productive and effective, or D, self-sufficient and self-centered. Self-sufficient? Yes. Self-centered? No. Satisfied and contented? That's funny. Less critical? Not related. So we know that the answer for 40 is C, productive and effective. 41, which of the following is based on exploiting non-renewable natural resources? This is a repeated question. A, fishing, B, lumbering, C, bauxite mining, D, hydroelectric power. Answer for 41 is C. It's the only non-renewable natural resource in the link, right? Fishing is renewable, lumbering is renewable, hydroelectric power is renewable, only bauxite is non-renewable. 42, which of the following are most likely to happen in a country where there is a high employment rate? Right? There are high levels of employment. What is most likely to happen? 1, greater demand for goods and services. 2, improvement in the quality of life, or 3, an upsurge in criminal activities. We know if there are high levels of employment, persons are going to be less likely to turn to crime. So we know that one is out. So there's going to be improvement in the quality of life because persons are going to have greater spending power and will be able to satisfy their needs and wants. There's going to be a greater demand for goods and services because people have money so they can purchase those goods and services. So the answer is 1 and 2 only. So the answer for 42 is A. 43. Which of the following would play an important part in a government's efforts to increase consumption of locally produced goods? So what can the government do, right, to ensure that persons buy locally produced goods? What's the best answer? A, increasing taxes on agricultural lands. B, imposing heavy duties on imported farm tools. C, increasing the price on imported food. Or D, cutting down forestries to obtain more lands for housing. Right? Remember, we said consumption of locally produced food. So D is a distractor, cutting down forestries to obtain more local lands for housing. That has nothing to do with consumption of locally produced food. So that is out and way off. B says imposing heavy duties on imported farm tools. If that is done, it's going to drive up the cost of local production, because if things increase, then the producer is going to pass on that cost to the consumer. He's not going to absorb the cost. And it's the same thing for A, increasing taxes on agricultural lands that will pass on to the consumer, which results in a higher price for the goods. So the answer is C, increasing the price on imported food to make local food more competitive, because importation is usually cheaper. Like goods that are imported usually sells cheaper because they come from countries where the production cost is lower than us. I'm talking in the Caribbean now. Don't think international. I'm talking in the Caribbean. Right? So the answer is C, increasing the price on imported food. Number 44, is it true to say that marine life in the Caribbean is A, an unlimited source, B, a renewable resource, C, useless as a tourist attraction, D, not a contributor to persons' diets? It does contribute to persons' diets, right? It is not an unlimited source. It is useful as a tourist attraction. So the one there, that is the answer, is B. It is a renewable resource. 45. Which of the following are ways by which people have caused soil erosion in the Caribbean? 1, mining. 2, slash and burn. 3, crop rotation. All right, it's not crop rotation. Please research what crop rotation is so we know that one is out. So we need a combination of 2 then. So, and 2 is left. So it's mining and slash and burn. We know all mining causes soil erosion. This is a repeated question. Persons might say, how does slash and burn contribute to soil erosion? Because when you cut down the trees and burn them, that is what is called slash and burn. So when you remove those trees now, you know that the soil is exposed because the roots are no longer there to hold the soil together, nor are there leaves to actually break the fall of the rain from falling directly on the soil. 46. Which of the following methods of fishing is most damaging to the ecosystem? This is a raging debate. Up to this morning, we were debating it in a social studies teachers group, right? Is it A, using dynamite, B, trawling the seas, C, setting off fish pots, D, dropping off signs? We know C and D are out. So it's between A, using dynamite, B, trawling the sea. Yes, dynamite is damaging. Trawling the sea is damaging as well. But trawling based on new information that would have been out there. At first, persons usually say dynamite, but with new information with trawling, because it's a big net that scrapes the sea even down to the bottom and remove valuable coral and small fish and so on and so forth, right? So the information that is out there now is saying that trawling is more damaging. You can Google it for yourself and see that trawling is more damaging than dynamite. I used to say dynamite until a student pointed it out to me that trawling is more damaging or more destructive, and I actually researched it for myself, and the answer is in fact trawling the seas. 47. Most Caribbean countries remain exporters of primary products, mainly because, a repeated question again, A, they possess limited mineral resources. B, their economies are agriculturally based. C, their labor forces are largely unskilled, or D, they lack the measures to process these resources. D, they lack the measures to process these resources. So they have to export whatever they extract, it is processed overseas, and then we import it back, or we import the product, the end product of that resource. Items 48 refers to the following table. 48 refers to the following table, which shows the population figures of country X in 2016. Number of births, 30,000. Number of deaths, 15,000. Number of immigrants, 14,000. Number of emigrants, 8,000. So the natural increase in population for country X in 2016 was natural increase. Notice the word natural there. Right? They're not asking for the population increase. Natural increase would involve births and deaths only. Population increase would involve births, deaths, immigrants, and emigrants. Note the difference. So the natural increase is number of births, 30,000, number of deaths, 15,000. So you minus the number of deaths from the number of births. The balance remaining, if it's positive, would be a natural increase, right? And that is 15,000. So the answer for 48 is A, 15,000. 49 refers to the following graph, which shows the birth rate according to sex for countries. This question has been reported several times. So you're going to read the statements and see which one is correct based on your reading of the graph. So look at the graph now. Unbroken line represents the male, the broken line represents the female, and it shows you the number of years for the birth rate for both sexes. One, so is it A? Female birth rate increased steadily between 1960 and 1990. Female birth rate reached its highest level around the mid-1970s. C, male birth rate was always lower than the female birth rate. D, male birth rate was higher than the female birth rate between 1975 and 1980. The answer for number 49 is B. Female birth rate reached its highest level around the mid-1970s. All right, now 50. The treaty which led to the establishment of CARICOM is an example of A, bilateral agreement, B, unilateral agreement, C, functional agreement, or D, multilateral agreement. It is a multilateral agreement because it's an agreement between several countries. Please Google what multilateral agreement means if you are not so sure. 51. Which of the following shows the progression of Caribbean integration movement? Is it A, CARIFTA, CARICOM, then Federation, B, Federation, CARICOM, then CARIFTA, C, Federation, CARIFTA, CARICOM, or is it D, CARICOM, CARIFTA, Federation? All right, so Federation was the first attempt, and that was the only one that failed. Good, so after Federation, then we got CARIFTA, then after CARIFTA, then it was CARICOM. So the answer for 51 is C. 52. Which of the following factors hinders cooperation among CARICOM states? A, common economic policies. B, the challenges of globalization. C, differences in cultural traditions. Or D, competition for foreign investments. So once you see hinder, and you see them use competition, known as a, yeah, competition usually causes problems unless it's friendly rivalry. But we know can't be friendly when we are competing for scarce resources. So the answer for 52 is D, competition for foreign investments. 53, between 1958 and 1962, Caribbean governments made an attempt to unify the region politically by A, forming a federation, B, seeking independence, C, establishing CARIFTA, or D, organizing CARICOM. Answer for 53 is A, forming a federation. 54. Which CARICOM group is made up of primary ministers, executive presidents, and chief ministers of member countries? A, the Secretariat, B, Common Market Council, C, Standing Committee of Ministers, D, Heads of Government Conference. The answer is, everybody should know this because this is the most powerful organ of CARICOM. Answer is correct. Answer is D, Heads of Government Conference. 55. For which of the following reasons are Caribbean countries most likely to attract foreign investors? Which reason foreign investors would be attracted to a Caribbean country? A, promoting economic development in the region. B, increasing travel among the people of the region. C, increasing market access for the large territories. Or D, ensuring the purchase of cheaper goods from outside the region. Answer for 55 is A, promoting economic development in the region. 56, individual countries in the region are too small to make their presence felt on the world stage, right? As a result of globalization. So implied in this statement is the need for individual countries to, because they are too small to compete globally or to make their presence felt. What do they need to do? A, return to colonialism. B, espouse republicanism. C, harmonize foreign policies. Or D, demand their democratic freedom, right? So we know that A, B, and D don't make sense. So the answer is C, harmonize foreign policies. 57, the CARICOM Single Market and Economy, CSME, was created to deepen the integration movement and to respond to the challenges and opportunities of A, communism, B, globalization, C, independence, D, republicanism. Answer is B, globalization. Now we are on to the final set of questions. Let me shift down this video a little bit more so that I can see the questions. Great. 58. Which of the following does not result from industrial development in the Caribbean? Does not result from industrial development, right? To the development of industries. What will not result from that? Is it A, increased export, B, high standards of living, C, decline in employment, or D, increased training opportunity? Not result. So 3 will result and what 1 will not be as a result. So we know that increased export, that is going to happen from industries because industries are producing goods, right? High standard of living, persons are going to be employed so they can take care of themselves financially better, right? Increased training opportunities, yes, because persons have training on the job. Good. Decline in employment, that is not as a result of the development of industries because persons are actually gain employment. So there's going to be an increase in employment. So the answer for 58 is C, decline in employment. 59, if a CARICOM country imposes restrictions on CARICOM products, which of the following provisions is being violated? A, liberalization of trade. B, functional cooperation. C, common market tariff, common external tariff. Or D, special regime of LCDs. Answer for 59 is A, liberalization of trade. So liberalization means freedom. Good. So as we are up on the last question, remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. And also go over to my other YouTube channel, which is Curry Fences. That's CURRY FENCES, Curry Fences on YouTube, and subscribe as well. I've posted great content over there, right? I've just posted an interview with a friend of mine talking about his experience coming from the US to Jamaica and testing for COVID-19. So go over there and listen to the interview, like, share, subscribe, and comment as well. So 60, final question. Which of the following is a function of the Caribbean Development Bank? A, regulating foreign exchange rates in CARICOM countries. B, providing loans to individuals in the Caribbean for constructing homes. C, serving as a central bank for commercial banks in the CARICOM region. Or D, organizing and supervising loans for developmental work to member states. Right? The answer for 60 is D, organizing and supervising loans for the developmental work in Caribbean states. All right, ladies and gentlemen, remember to like, share, subscribe, and comment. Thank you for watching.